I've set up my own schedule to be flexible, but I've also picked clients who are also more about work output than true meetings, which makes it a lot easier for me to do my job.
It's important to you that you are aligned with the client. You know what it means to be aligned with your family and with your life, big picture, so that you're not taking on every client. They have to be in alignment with that.
Exactly, People will come to me and say, they were referred by a friend or something, and they'll give me their product, and it might be just something, I don't know, a little out of scope, like a financial wellness vendor, which I think is amazing, but I don't know as much about finances when it comes to those apps. So like they say they're a financial wellness vendor, and the person I meet with is like, we're really in a rush to do this product, and it's going to be a tight 6 weeks, and we need to meet 3 times a week. That just wouldn't work for me. I more take on clients who are like, we have deliverables, and we give you the time to set it up and just get it done in the allotted time and money that we've given you. And then we usually meet like once a week. So it's really doable.
Nice.
I look back, and the advice I always give people, like if you are listening to this and you're pregnant or like you're still working full time, it's just, I would have set up the logistics and operations of like my LLC and all that earlier. There's a big lift that you do have to do in terms of like setting up your own LLC, making yourself a website, figuring out how you're going to do payments, what the tax is going to look like, and that can be really daunting, especially if you're doing that simultaneously with trying to make income and find clients and do all of it. So I think if you can get the logistics side out of the way and just start on a few little projects, and your friend asks for help on their website, and maybe you don't even charge her, but you're like, could you do a testimonial? Could we do like $10 through my new invoicing system? Like just so you can get the feel of it. And then when you're ready to do it, you already have the logistics side figured out, because I think a lot of people are hit with the taxes and the systems, and they're just like, oh my gosh, I need to go back in house. But I think if you build that all up slowly and do one little thing at a time, then you don't have to worry about it alongside growing your business.
So kind of like there's a checklist to get started. Like, name your brand, create your LLC, get your, your EIN, your employee, your employer, your tax ID, and set up a billing system and have your friends and family pilot it for you so you can get the kinks out before you go live to a broader audience.
Exactly. So I had to ask a lot of people for honest feedback, and people I trusted, of course, that I knew wouldn't like lowball me.
It kind of takes on a life of its own, right?
Yeah.
Where like it's so scary at first, and then you don't even have time to be scared anymore.
Yeah, no, totally.
Because you're in the work.
When I first even started consulting, the whole both and project wasn't even part of it. I just wanted to consult and make some money while I was home with my kids. Basically, the biggest thing being is I knew I wanted to have a door open for me if, when the kids got to be 10 and 12, I was like, I'm ready to go back to work full time. I wanted it to not be this huge gap in my resume that I just hadn't worked, because even though you of course are doing work, you're taking care of the kids, it is a career professional gap. And so I knew that if I could stay as a consultant during that time, I wouldn't have the same gap. I could still show clients, I still show work. I did that, and the clients I've taken on, the way I developed my scope, it has all continued to evolve the last year, with the both and project being trying to get more people into consulting and understanding how to do that, and now potentially seeing a path to where maybe I do half my time on both and half consulting. So I don't know, I'm just kind of really following what's working, and listening to my clients and listening to people following me and listening to just what people need. And I think that's a lot of like the really important thing about growing business is you have to have a specialty and something to offer people, but you also really have to listen to your customers and your audience and who's coming to you, and just trying to develop what they need.
Absolutely. Have there been any unlock or like epiphany moments where you're like, wow, X, Y, and Z worked really well. I didn't expect it to.
I think the biggest epiphany has been like, I feel like when I set up the scope and the way I wanted to work and the flexibility, it was almost like who would hire, my job was so rigid before. I worked Monday through Friday, and I had my first call at 8 and my last call sometimes at 5 or 6, or even calls with India. And I was like, is someone really gonna hire me when I say I'm available for 10 hours a week, but only 1 to 1.5 hours of calls, and it has to be on a Wednesday? It just felt so specific, but it was what I was looking for. And I also had set a hourly fee that I thought was astronomically high, because I just was putting out a number and people told me to be high with it. And I just remember one of my clients looking at it and saying, that's great, Wednesday works for us, price looks good, and they just signed it. And I immediately like called my best friend, just being like, I don't know how this is working, but it's working. And so I think that was really the epiphany moment. Is I almost feel like in my corporate role, I had so many people being like, the grass isn't always greener, you're gonna regret it, you make good money and you have flexibility here. And I did, but now I look at it and I'm like, the epiphany was that it did get so much better, and I do have so much more flexibility, and I was able to make more money than I thought, and I kind of put out what I wanted and I got everything I asked for. And I think that's an epiphany that is so huge, is that you just, there's so many voices telling you can't have it all when it comes to it. And I wouldn't say I have it all, but I have everything I'm asking